Namaskar everybody and welcome to today's Gita Satsang. Let us start with the prayer. By the Guru's grace and the will of Sri Krishna, we have all assembled for this online Gita Satsang. May we have their guidance to be able to learn and adopt the things which will help us to grow spiritually. Let us chant the prayers. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatah Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Namostu te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindaya Tapatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Ramanujadaya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanathaaryam Vande Vedanta Deshikam Yo Nityamachyuta Padambuja Yugma Rukma Vyamohatastaditarani Trinaya Mene Asmadguror Bhagavatosya Dayaika Sindho Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapadye. So with prayers at the lotus feet of the Acharyas, let us take up our shloka for today. In the last satsang, we had taken 4 shlokas, 35, I think we had taken 34, 35, 36 and 37. So this time we will take the next 3 shlokas because the idea expressed in these are similar. So 38 shloka, 39 shloka and 40th shloka. So Arjuna is still continuing to talk and express his feelings to Krishna. So he says, Yadyapyete na pashyanti lobo pahata chetasaha kulakshaya kritam dosham mitradrohe chapatakam katham nagneyam asmabhihi papad asman nivartitum kulakshaya kritam dosham prapashyadbhir janardana Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo bhivavatyuta. So what he is saying is, the Kauravas, they are not able to see the outcome. Why? Because their thoughts are completely overpowered by lobha, by greed. So because they are overpowered by greed, they are blinded by lobha, so they do not see any wrong in doing these kind of activities. What are the 2 important wrong deeds that the Kauravas are performing by coming for this fight? One is Kulakshaya and the other one is Mitradroha. So Kulakshaya means destroying of the Kula, destruction of your own family and relatives. And Mitradroha is to do droha to your friends, to be treacherous, to be traitorous to your friends and do wrong to them. So these are 2 great patakas, they are 2 great sins. But the Kauravas are not able to see this. Why they are not able to see this? Because they are blinded by greed. Greed for what? Greed for the kingdom. So this is one sentiment which Arjuna is expressing here. Then he says, okay, they are not able to see. Okay, but what about us? We are able to see. We know that it is criminal to kill our own people. We know that we must not be doing Mitradroha, right? So when we know this, why we should not turn away from this sin? The Kauravas are not able to see because they are blinded by greed, and therefore they have assembled here for the fight. But we can see that it is wrong to be doing such activities. So why we should take part in this war? Why don't we also turn away and go away from this war? Because it is criminal, it is wrong, it is sinful to be doing these kind of activities. Now, why he is telling this? Because whenever there is Kulakshaya, whenever the dynasty, when a Kula is destroyed, then what will happen? Whatever traditions are followed in that family, whatever is the dharma in that Kula, that will get destroyed. And if the dharma of a family is destroyed, then all the members of that family, they turn to the path of adharma. And that is not correct. So giving these reasons, now Arjuna is trying to give yet another, explanation of why he does not want to fight the war. So we have been seeing in the past so many shlokas. At first, Arjuna said that I will not fight. I don't want to fight because these are my own relatives. How can I kill them? Right? They are my own guru, my own grandfather, my own sons-in-law, fathers-in-law, maternal uncles, this one, that one. He gave all those things and he said, they are my own people. So out of compassion for them, how can I kill them? He said. Then secondly, he said, now these are the very people for whose sake we are fighting the war. And if they are only going to be killed, then for whose sake I am fighting the war? What sukha I will get when my own people are killed in the war? That was the second reason that Arjuna gave. Then he said that by doing this war, by fighting in this war and killing our own people, we are all going to get papa. So even although they are atatai, although they are aggressors, by killing them, what I will get? I will only get papa. So why should I fight? He said. And now he's giving yet another reason, saying that because killing these people. Now, who are these people? They are all the elders in the family. So by killing these elderly people in the family, what is going to happen? That entire Vamsha, that entire Kula is going to get destroyed. So if that Kula is destroyed, then that entire family's Adhara, that support system of that entire family is destroyed. So when there is no Dharma, then it will all, everybody in that family will turn to Adharma. So we are actually leading to destruction of the entire system of dharma by fighting like this. So this way, Arjuna is trying to justify all the reasons why we should not be fighting this war. Okay. So what are the points specifically in these three shlokas that we need to focus on? The first thing, he's saying that the Kauravas have been blinded by lobha. So what is this lobha? It is greed. Now, all of us, we are living in this prapancha, in this samsara, we are living our lives. So definitely we have some desires or we have certain wants and we want those wants to be fulfilled, isn't it? So if we have certain needs, then fulfilling those needs is fine. It is okay. But when our desires become too much, when we start hankering for that which does not belong to us, then that is greed, right? And that lobha, it will blind us. So always we have seen some people who fight for property, or there are people who fight to become rich, or there are people who fight to get status, right? And many times these people, they are willing to adopt unethical means, wrong means to get whatever they want. So what has happened to these people? Is it that we don't know what is right and what is wrong? Of course they know, but they have become blind. Just as, like we know that with old age people, the lens in the eye, it gets, the proteins get precipitated. So it starts becoming opaque. And once it becomes opaque, the light does not pass through. We are not able to have clear vision. So like cataract blinds the eyes physically, similarly, when we have greed, that greed blinds us spiritually and ethically, morally it blinds us. So we cannot see what sin will come. Similarly, now the Kauravas, they are blinded because they are greedy to get the kingdom for themselves. They don't want to share anything with the Pandavas. So they are blinded by that greed. And because of that, they are not able to see that in this fight, if everybody gets killed, then there will be Kulanasha. Secondly, they are also not able to see that all these are our own people. They are our own family. They are our own friends. So how can we behave in a treacherous manner? How can we betray our own friends and fight and kill them and destroy their families? This is what Arjuna is asking. Now, it is very significant here, the Acharyas say that Arjuna is asking this to Krishna because Arjuna is trying to tell that Krishna, you know what is the pain of Kulakshaya, and yet you are telling me to fight. So why is Arjuna trying to say that Krishna knows the pain of Kulakshaya? Because Krishna is born in the Yadava Kula. Now, to understand this concept, we need to, uh, understand one story which is told. Um, it is also explained in the Bhagavatam. So there was a king called Yayati. Now, this Yayati, he married two wives, and he was so much involved in that Kama Sukha. He had so much of desire for physical enjoyment that he was not happy with whatever lifespan he had. Now, this Yayati, he had four sons. The eldest son was Yadu, and the last son was Puru. So, what happened is that this Yayati, he wanted to have more and more enjoyment. So he thought that, okay, I am becoming old and I'm going to die. And when I become old, I will no longer be able to enjoy through my senses. So I want to extend my lifespan. So what he did was, he went to his sons and he requested them, he told them that you give me your Ayush also. You give me your lifespan. You are still young. You give me few years of your life. So using that, I will enjoy, and then after some time, you will be able to take your lifespan back from me. So he asked his sons. So here we can understand the concept that if somebody is totally entangled in sense pleasure, then that pleasure will never go away. You only want to enjoy more and more. If I like to eat something tasty and I indulge in that taste, then that desire to eat will never go away. But if I try to control the desire to eat that thing, then somewhere there is a hope that I will be able to overcome that desire. It is like saying that if there is a fire which is, burning and very brightly. Now, how do we try to put out that fire? If we pour oil and ghee into that fire, it will only blaze stronger, isn't it? It will not get extinguished. But if you pour water on it, or more importantly, if you cut off the supply of oxygen to that fire by covering it with something, then the fire will get extinguished. Similarly, Yayati has not yet realized that by giving in to the sense desire, he thinks that he wants to enjoy more. So he wants more Ayus to enjoy more and more. So he goes and asks his sons that give me your lifespan. Now Yadu is the eldest son, and he tells his father, I am not going to give you my lifespan because I also want to enjoy. I am not going to give you my lifespan. How much are you going to enjoy? You have already enjoyed for all these years. So it is not correct. And he refuses. The other two sons who are in between, they also refuse. Finally, Yayati goes to Puru. And this Puru, he is the one, he says, fine, you are my father. You have given birth to me. So I am duty bound to obey whatever is your wish. I will obey that. So I will give you my lifespan. Also, this Puru had the Viveka, he had the discrimination, and he understood that by wanting to enjoy more and more, we are never going to go ahead and go beyond that desire. So he willingly gave his lifespan to his father. So Yayati took that son's lifespan also, and he was so angry with Yadu because Yadu refused to give him Dayus. So he cursed Yadu and said that I am not going to make you the next king after me. You will not have Patabhisheka. You will not have the throne. And he was happy with Puru who gave him the Ayus, and he said, you will become the king after me. So this way, Yayati took that Puru's lifespan, some years, and he continued to enjoy. Now, after some 1,000 years or more passed, then he realized that even after all this enjoyment, there is no use. I am not able to satisfy my desires fully. It is only going on becoming more and more. So finally, somewhere he gets the Viveka, and because of that, he then goes back to his youngest son, to Puru, and says, take back your Ayush. I don't want anything more. I have realized that there is no point in enjoying like this, and I am going to go away. So he gives the kingdom to Puru and he goes away. Now, in this Vamsha of Kuru only, there was a king who came called Kuru, and that is why this Vamsha is called as the Kuru Vamsha. And in that Kuru Vamsha, these Kauravas, Pandavas, everybody is born, right? So, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, Vidura, they are all part of this Kuru Vamsha. So, we call them Pandavas because they are sons of Pandu, but they are also part of the Kuru clan itself. So, in that Yadu, you remember that Yadu who was cursed by Yayati, saying that you will not get the throne. So that Yadu did not become the king. None of his successors, his sons, their sons, that Vamsha never would become the king. And Krishna was born in that Yadukula. So here now Arjuna is trying to tell Krishna, he is indirectly implying, the acharyas say, that you know what is the problem that comes when there is something wrong that happens in the kula, when somebody behaves wrongly in the kula, and yet you are telling me to fight and to destroy this Kurukula. Why is it that you're telling me like this? That is the question that Arjuna is asking to Krishna. Other danger of this Kulakshaya also is told, like in the Narasimha Avatara, we see that the Lord incarnates for the sake of the Bhakta, for Prahlada's sake, and he kills Hiranyakashipu because he was troubling his Bhakta, right? And yet the Lord feels bad that he has killed Prahlada's father in front of his own eyes. So he tells Prahlada that because your father was a menace to you, I killed him. But now I promise you that I'm not going to kill anybody else in your kula. So here again, the Lord is emphasizing actually that it is not correct to destroy any vamsha, to destroy any kula. But why he had to do that? Because Hiranyakashipu was troubling his bhakta. So the principle is that Kulakshaya is bad, and yet the Lord overrules that principle of dharma because his promise ultimately is to protect the bhakta, right? So here it is implied that Arjuna again is trying to indicate, you promised Prahlada that you will not kill anybody in his kula, but you are telling me now to fight and destroy the Kurukula. That way he seems to be asking the question. Then this concept of Mitradroha, that you betray your friend, that you behave in a wrong way with a friend, that also gets, it gives sin, it gives papa. So this idea is explained through an incident which is described in the Kamba Ramayana. Now, when Rama is going out for Vanavasa, he goes and he meets Guha on the way, right? And Guha is his close friend, and he says, I am considering you not just as my friend, but you are like my other brother. Such is the amount of affection that Rama has for Guha. And after Rama has been ferried across the river and Guha is in his place, then Bharata comes there. Bharata has come with the intention of taking Rama back. Now, to go and meet Rama to reach Chitrakuta, Bharata has to cross that same river with the help of Guha. Now, when Guha sees Bharata coming with this big army and all these people, he also, like how Lakshmana misunderstood, Guha has also misunderstood that Bharata has come to harm Lord Rama. And at that time, Guha says in the Kamba Ramayana, the Ramayana which is written by Kambar. So there it is described that how Guha says that the Lord has considered me as his friend. How can I do droha to him? If I take this Bharata across, it will be committing betrayal of the friendship, of the trust which Lord Rama has placed in me. So here again, Guha is emphasizing that when somebody you consider as a friend, you must always be loyal to that person and not do droha to that person. So what Arjuna is telling now, that Mitradroha is a papa. So I don't want to commit that. They don't know that. They are blinded by Lobha. So the Kauravas don't want that. But I know that it is wrong to do Mitradroha. Right? So he is refusing to do that. Similarly, the other situation which is given where the importance of a friendly attitude is told, right? So at the time when Vibhishana comes and wants to surrender to the Lord, at that time there is a discussion between Rama, Sugriva, Hanuman, Jambavan, all these people. And there Lord Rama makes a statement. He says, Mitra bhavena sampraptam natyajayam kadanchana. Even if somebody comes pretending to be a friend, Mitra bhavena, in the garb of a friend, in the disguise of being a friend, if someone comes to me, I will accept him, the Lord says. So here there is an important lesson for us, or an important hope for us. Many times we are not able to actually feel bhakti, or we are not able to feel love for God. But even if we pretend to, and we just go through the actions, even if we just do it mechanically, the Lord will take that as real devotion from our side, and he will protect us. So there is a story which is told by Rama to Sugriva, where he talks about how we must not give up on our friends or somebody who has come to us asking for support. We have already seen this in some previous satsang, where the story was told about the man who was trying to escape from a tiger, and he climbed up a tree. There was a monkey which was sitting there, and the monkey said, I will protect you because you have come here, you are my guest. Now, after some time, in the middle of the night, the tiger calls out from down and says, you throw that, it tells the man, throw that monkey down. I will eat the monkey and I will not eat you, and you can be saved. So the man willingly pushes the monkey down. But the monkey immediately wakes up, and the tiger tells it that, see, I told that man to push you down, and so readily he pushed you down. Why are you protecting such a fellow? You go up and push him down. I am not interested in eating monkeys. I only enjoy human flesh. So you go up and push the man down. So the monkey says, okay, okay, to the tiger. And he climbs up. But once he reaches there, now this man is shivering. He thinks that the monkey is going to push him down and he's done for. But when the monkey comes there, it tells that man that, don't worry, I will not push you down. Because even now, despite what you did, you are still my guest. And you are somebody who has sought my help. So I will never, betray you. So Rama tells this story to Sugriva at the time when Vibhishana has come there asking for Sharanagati. So Rama is telling Sugriva that in that story, that monkey gave shelter to that man, even if he tried to betray him. And you, Sugriva, you are coming in that same kula of the monkey. How can you behave otherwise? You must also behave. It is your dharma to behave in the same way as what that monkey behaved. And in fact, Rama goes to the extent where he says, again in the Kamba Ramayana it's told, that he tells Sugriva that in my kula, it is the norm to not betray those who seek our help. How can I act otherwise? You remember in another satsang we have discussed the story of Shibi Maharaj and how he was willing to give up his own flesh also to save the pigeon. So Rama is telling that in fact, if I don't accept Vibhishana and then later I go back to Ayodhya after all the Yuddha and everything, and when I'm narrating everything, I tell this incident and say I did not accept Vibhishana, then my Guru Vasishta, what will he say about me? Will he feel happy that I have, given up the dharma of our kula? So like this, the importance of following the practices of dharma in that kula, that is taught by this whole discussion. So what is it for us to learn? What we can take home from this entire discussion that we have seen here? First thing, we say that we consider ourselves as not greedy. When the question comes about who is greedy, we will point to all other people around us, isn't it? So we think we are not very greedy, or we are living within whatever we are having. We are not greedy people. But the real question is how to assess whether I'm being greedy or not. We can understand that when we realize how willing we are to share what we have with other people. The example is told, for example, like you have your child, you want to educate your child, right? Let us say there is one very rich man who has crores of rupees. He wants to educate his child, which is very good. He should do that. How much will it cost him to educate his own child? A few lakhs, a few thousands. But if the same person decides to set up a school, then along with educating his child, he can also give education to so many other people in society who are not able to afford it. So, like this, how much willing we are to do something for others, to perform certain actions which will benefit others. From that, we can judge whether we are greedy or not greedy. And even in small, small things, are we willing to share our space with other people? Are we willing to share what we have, whether it is our belongings, whether it is our money, whether it is the time that we have? Are we willing to share with others? That is something we must ask ourselves. If we are not willing to share, then we are also like the Kauravas, blinded by Lobha. And then we will take wrong actions just because we want to have everything for ourselves. So we must consider how greedy are we or how to go towards giving up that greed. Second thing, so much is told about the importance of, the kula. Now, in every family, in every kula, in every lineage, there are a lot of things that come as practices. So, are we behaving in a way that is taught by our kula? Are we following the practices which are a part of our family tradition? Are we acting in a way which will give glory to our family? That is something also that we must keep asking ourselves. Whenever there is a question that what action I should take or how I should behave, then I must think, is this something which is part of my Kula Dharma? Is it something that is acting against my Kula Dharma? And when we have that as our guiding light, our actions will be in the proper way. Whatever family practices we have, we must carry forward those practices. Now, there may be some customs that we are following during festivals, or there are some families where they are very, well to do. Then they have a practice of offering, say, annadana at a particular time, or of helping in some social activity which will benefit society. So, such kind of things people do. And it is important that those who come in that family should continue those practices, because only then Samaja will benefit from their actions. Now, if it is that we don't have any such practice, let us say there is no such practice in our family, then we must think, is it possible for me to start some activity like that, which I will teach to my children also, and they will teach to their children, and it can be carried on for the benefit of people around me, for the benefit of those who are not as well off as me. Like that, we must think and try to inculcate some practices which become part of our family tradition. Now, it is important to do good to society, because one thing is that there are so many people who are not as well off as us. There are so many people who are in need. We always look at those who have more than us, but we don't look at those who have less than us. So we must look at those who are not as fortunate as us and try and do some good to them. That is one part. The second thing is, we are taking so much from society, isn't it? How much of the facilities that we are enjoying, the food we are eating, the water we are drinking, the clothes we are wearing, the house we are living in, all this is because of the contribution of Samaja. So I owe something to them. I am in debt. I have what is called as Samajaruna. So I must do something from my side to make a difference to society, to repay that runa that I have. I must do some actions. So that generally, if it comes as a part of a family practice, it ensures that the practice will continue. So now we can understand, if there are families like this who are doing certain practices which are going to be good for everybody in society, then imagine if there is destruction of that family, then that will also stop. The good to society, what is happening, will stop, and that can be damaging. So that is how we must think. Then about the concept of Mitra and Mitradroha. So what type of friends do we have? We must think about that. It is always told, no, that man is decided or judged by the company he keeps. So we must make sure that we have good friends. More importantly, we must understand and analyze always what kind of a friend am I to people whom I say I am your friend. Are we honest with them? Are we sacrificing in that friendship? That is something we have to think about and work towards. Because if our actions are such that we say one thing in words and then we go behind that person's back and do something which will be harmful to them, then we are doing Mitradroha. Then that will invite Papa. So we must not behave in such a way that we do Droha to our friends. Let us have the right type of friends. It is not that we should fall into bad company and then say, I can't do Mitradroha and go and keep doing wrong things. Not like that. We all know, we have judgment. Who is a good friend, who is not the right type of company to have. So what kind of friend we should have, we must decide and have good friends. And then once we have friendship with somebody, we must try and do what is good for them. We must try and help them in their times of need and be present for them as a support. So like this, in that story, what Rama told to Sugriva, the monkey was willing to help that man, even if that man betrayed. So that shows the highly sattvic nature of that monkey. Similarly, we must be sattvic and we must not look at every small wrong thing that somebody does and give up on the friendship. We must be willing to accept them as they are, and whatever I can do from my side to help somebody, I must try and do that. So these are some of the things that we have discussed in today's satsang. So I hope you could understand. There are too many ideas that I have talked about today. I hope I didn't confuse all of you and that you understood what is the whole point of what is being told by Arjuna. So we saw how Arjuna, he gives different reasons, isn't it? He says, firstly, they are all our own relatives. I can't fight because I am feeling pity for them. Then he says, if all these people, my own people, if I kill them, then what sukha I will get in this Rajya? Then he says that by killing my own people, I will get Papa. And now finally he is telling that if I kill all these people and the Kula is destroyed, then what all damage will happen? Now in the further shlokas, Arjuna is going to go and explain more in detail about what actually happens when there is adharma in a Kula. So he has come to this point where he is saying that if we kill all these people and the Kula is destroyed, then that whole family will become adharma, will become adharmic. They will be involved in wrong activities and adharma will start there instead of the family following the path of dharma. So in the next few shlokas, he is going to explain about what exactly, how exactly that process of destruction in the family will happen. So we will see that in the next class. If there is anything that anybody wants to ask, we will just offer Kritagnyata now, and then we will go for the question and answers. So we are almost reaching the end of our time. So let us offer gratitude, Kritagnyata, and the Shine Guru. We have about 5 minutes left. If there's anything that anybody wants to ask about what we talked today, you can go ahead and ask.
Hello. 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 Hello.